Clear Voices of Hope is a powerful collection of voices from For the Love of Cups, Clear Pathways program, dedicated to raising awareness about the realities of dense breast tissue and breast cancer. Through honest conversations and personal stories, we amplify the voices of women who have faced these challenges firsthand, sharing their journeys, fears, triumphs, and lessons learned along the way. Each episode brings you closer to the lived experiences of survivors, advocates, and caregivers, while also featuring leading experts in breast health and women's health. Together, we break down the barriers, provide vital education, and empower listeners to make informed decisions about their own breast health. Whether you're navigating your own diagnosis, supporting a loved one, or passionate about women's health equity, Clear Voices of Hope is your source for real stories, reliable information, and a supportive community. Join us as we shine a light on the path to early detection, better care, and hope for every woman. Tess Chang, thank you so much for joining me here today on Clear Voices of Hope. I'm really thrilled to have you join me for this conversation. I know you found me during a Facebook post and you just took a chance and agreed to come here today to share your experience about having dense breast tissue and what that was like for you. And I just want to thank you so much for just being so willing to recognize how important this conversation is and how willing you are to show up and have that and to spread this information. I think it's really powerful, and I really want to just convey how much I appreciate you recognizing that and then taking the steps to just carve out some time to sit down with me and share your story, because that's really what we are all about here, gathering women's voices and amplifying them. And I do this for so many reasons, and one of them is because that's what saved my life. It wasn't because the information was out there and readily available. I literally had to go searching for it on my own and have conversations with other women just like this, and then find out for myself what that meant, and then go and advocate. And so I hope this information serves anyone who takes the time to really listen to it, get to know you. Either way, they're going to get so much inspiration and wisdom and education, should they be searching for that too. I want to pause though before we dive into all of that and just give you a moment to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're at, and how you got here.
Yeah, hi Lisa, and thank you first of all for having me on your show and giving me the opportunity to share my story with your audience. I'm Tess, I'm based in Miami, and my work is health and wellness coaching. So I run a private practice, helping people change lifestyle habits to improve their health. I was also practicing as a nutritionist for many years when I was living back in California, but then I switched into coaching, focus more on a holistic approach, because it's really habits rather than what we know or what we want to do. It's the habits on a daily basis that matter, and that's why I'm passionate about motivating people, just to do everything they can for their health. Prevention very often is the key, because a lot of diseases, once you've developed them, once they're developed, it takes a much bigger effort to reverse them. And I think it's really important, and I think people don't understand, the impact that we can actually have, by just doing little things every day, just maybe increasing movement, make sure we exercise, manage our weight, and perhaps especially with nutrition too, there's so much outlet, and a lot of information is on the internet, but I feel these days people can get confused very easily, because it's just
there's a lot of overwhelming information, but like you said, sometimes it just comes down to simple daily habits, and at the very least I like to think I might not be able to control everything, but I can put myself in a really good position to be strong and healthy and do my best to, when things do happen, that I've given myself the best chance possible at being able to heal and recover and repair from an experience, whatever it is. that I give myself the best chance at recovery and healing.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm wondering if you could give me a little bit of information about what your life was like or what you were doing when you went in for that initial exam and how you even found out that you had dense breast tissue.
Yes. Well, I've been having, because I believe in prevention, so I believe in getting blood work done and scans and tests. And mammogram was something that I would have done once a year, even though there are lots of controversies about it. Some women feel that, you're getting a dose of radiation, but at the same time, from what I understand, that it really can be lifesaver.
Yeah. And it's the only way to find out if you have dense breast tissue.
Exactly. But I didn't know anything about dense breast tissues. I didn't really go into any research, on there. I just thought, well, mammogram, it would just tell you everything. And then about 5 years ago, I had my annual mammogram, and then the report came back, and with that letter telling me, the mammogram seems normal, but you have dense breast tissue, so we really don't know. It's difficult to tell, if everything is fine. But they say, from what we can see, this is fine, and that's all they said. That's it. They didn't tell, they didn't advise to me that I should do anything else about it. So I started doing my own research. But they didn't actually say that in the report, that if you have dense breast tissues, then there's a higher risk of developing breast cancer. And because it's also more difficult for them to see it through a mammogram. And then, I found, and I learned that then the other scan you should have is an ultrasound.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dense breast tissue is a compounded risk factor. That's the lacking piece of information quite often.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But then my gynecologist never said anything about ultrasound, and I wanted them to actually, order the test for me, but they wouldn't. They just said, oh, at this stage we don't feel that it's necessary. So I ended up getting it done privately myself. So, out of pocket I pay for it, because it's not actually that costly. I think it was less than $200.
Oh, wow. That's the least I've ever heard. That's amazing. We need to know where that happened, because sometimes that's just the copay. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it can be quite expensive. It can be up to $500 for the scan, and then sometimes you have to pay extra to have a radiologist look at it.
Yes.
And even still, sometimes then you can go back to your doctor with this information, and they may not really even accept it because it wasn't them that ordered it. So it seems silly that all those things could happen, but they are. For whatever reason that does happen. Yeah. But I'm glad to hear that you were very proactive in getting that done, and you were able to get that done for yourself. That's really incredible. And so what happened after that?
So everything was, normal. Everything was negative. So it was fine. So since then, every year I will make sure I get both of those done. And from my understanding, that mammogram will show certain things, and yet again, ultrasound will show something else. So the best way is to actually have both of the scans, both the mammogram and the ultrasound. One without the other is not as efficient. So if you just have the ultrasound, and because women feel that with ultrasound is there's no radiation involved. So very often they might feel, oh, I would just have the ultrasound, but I'm not going to bother with the mammogram. From my understanding,
Yeah, and that's a conversation for each woman to have with her doctor or gynecologist. Yes. Ideally, you have a gynecologist that you can work with, depending on your age and your risk factors. For some women, they don't want them having mammograms every year, and sometimes they alternate one for the other. Coming up with a really comprehensive, individualized plan is important. Are you still paying out of pocket for these ultrasounds, or how is that working now?
Not in the last year. I've changed my gynecologist, and she's really nice, and she understood my concern. So she was ordering them, because I do have other risk factors. So when I actually got that report about the dense breast tissues, I was really quite concerned. Yeah, I've been tested for the gene, for breast cancer. So luckily I don't have that.
Okay.
But because I believe I have some of the risk factors. First of all, I've never had children, and they have a medical term for it. It's the first time when you get your period. I was
Menarche.
very young. I was very young.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I understand that's also another risk factor. Yeah, and so I believe with cancer prevention, screening is really important.
Yeah, I'm really impressed at your knowledge when this first happened. When you first got that letter that alerted you to having dense breast tissue. I'm like, what made you know? Did you already know that it was a risk factor, or did you just start doing your own research? Like, what led you to be more proactive about that and some of your risk factors? I'm wondering if you had a family history of breast cancer, or what that was like for you with the genetic testing as well, because that's normally they don't offer that unless you have a family history. So I'm just wondering how that all tied together.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about dense breast tissue until the report came out. I didn't even know that existed. But then when I started doing my research, I was alarmed, about the fact that it's a risk factor for breast cancer. I don't have as far as I know, I don't have a family history of breast cancer, but it's something that I think, women, when they hear that, it's just horrifying. And because it seems that more and more women get it these days, and younger
Yeah.
and younger as well. But I have known about the other risk factors for quite a while. It was just something that I was doing a lot of research on. And because I know, with some of the other types of cancer, they are preventable, but yet again, for some reason, with breast cancer, it seems it's so prevalent these days.
Yeah.
It's really quite frightening, and it doesn't matter
Yeah.
now. Even women who have children, women who are healthy, they take care of their health, and yet, for some reason, they still develop it. I know, statistics show that now less women are dying, less women die from it because of the effective treatments and because of the screening. But it's not something we want in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think that anybody's been able to figure out, how to prevent or
Yeah.
completely cure it, but I think there's things we can do to improve quality of life, earlier diagnosis, education, community play a huge factor in it. And
Yes.
even that education piece, like, I'm just blown away about your ability to just like keep moving this forward. It's so easy, I think, for us to want to just dismiss some of this. It's timely, it's costly, it's,
Yes.
energy, it's bandwidth that a lot of people just don't feel like they have when they're working day to day and, just living with the everyday stresses of life. To take the time to make that happen, to understand it, and then to actually follow through on it. And also, even just, getting a new gynecologist can be huge. Like we talked about earlier, to have somebody you can work with. Now you've got somebody that can order these for you and feel like you're really getting complete care for yourself, which is got to give you some relief, take a little bit of the pressure off of you having to do this kind of on your own.
Yeah. I'm really glad I found the gynecologist that I have at the moment. I have these days, and she's really nice and she's really understanding. And she knows about my concerns. I think the other thing why I really, as soon as I found out about the dense breast tissue, I just, I started being really proactive because the other two risk factors are not modifiable. As far as I'm concerned, I couldn't change when I had my first period, you know, and the fact that I've never had children, I couldn't change any of that, But at the
Right.
same time, I can be more vigilant with the screening every year and make sure that that gets done. And the other risk factor I understand that is modifiable from the research I've done is alcohol consumption. It shows that alcohol intake does increase the risk of breast cancer, and I think it's something that's a lot of people don't actually realize, and it's not out there because they, years ago they say, oh, having a glass of wine every day, is actually good for your heart, but not if you're female. If you're female, then you're worried about breast cancer. So at least with heart health, there are very effective treatments out there, that you can actually do, and you don't want to increase your breast cancer risk, by having more alcohol, so that you have a healthier heart. And even that's not truly,
Yeah.
the research showing that's not true anymore.
Well, yeah, and you bring up an interesting point. A lot of the research and a lot of the studies that we hear are
Yeah.
based on men, especially around heart health. But
Yes.
I think there's a sense of empowerment that also comes from making good choices and
Yeah.
creating some good habits so that you feel good and you feel confident. I'm wondering what some of those things are for you.
Well, I work out quite often. So no matter where I am, even when I'm traveling, I make sure I go to the gym, a local gym, and get the local passes. So keep the movement going. I just enjoy it. So to me, it's important. I tend to walk a lot more when I'm away, but that's not enough. That's not like that's not the same as strength training. And I'm careful about what I eat, but as you say, one has to enjoy life, and so you want to go out in restaurants. But I think the key is to be intentional, rather than just not just doing whatever comes to mind. I think just say to yourself, okay, today I will have dessert, but tomorrow I'll be good again. Just having some kind of structures, and making
Yeah.
plans of something. I'm pretty good with eating regularly, so I eat 3 times a day, and I plan my meals around my schedules. Because we're all busy, we all have things that come up.
Yeah.
But I think that's why it's so important to have those things in place. This way, if you suddenly you find yourself you're short on time, and then
Yeah.
and then you end up getting really hungry, and you just eat whatever that you can get hold of.
I'm guilty of that for sure. I try to always have some kind of a snack with me, though, just like even if it's just
Yeah.
almonds or something, because I do tend to just like go and then crash like really quickly. So if I don't have something to hold me over when I feel that crash coming, so that and I can make some better choices, you're right. I will probably just grab anything.
Yeah, and also sleep. To me, sleep is sacred. So, and also that's quite a priority.
Yes.
So by
Okay.
the
Tell me what the
evening,
secret is at, because it's true, but I think a lot of people struggle with sleep, and I I never used to. I would sleep like I was a professional sleeper. Like I would sleep really well at night. I was like, I don't know why everybody complains about this. What's so hard
yeah.
about it? You lay down and you go to sleep, right? Um, but I don't always wake up feeling good and feeling rested, even though I feel like I slept good. I wake up and I don't feel great. So I'm wondering what your secrets are for a good night's sleep.
When you say you don't feel great, do you think you've given yourself enough hours?
Yes.
How many
I have.
hours will you use?
I would say at least 7.
Oh,
I've
okay.
always required a lot of sleep. When I was younger, it was more like 9. I've always been somebody that I know I require sleep and I require time to recharge. So
Yeah,
I know that I need to carve out time to do that. But yeah, I'll
yeah.
usually wake up because, no matter what pillow I have or what mattress I have, my neck is sore, my hips are sore, my body aches, and my head is
Mm.
foggy. And like, I just need to get up because something hurts. And then it takes me a while before like my brain even remembers why, like what's happening for the day.
Yeah. Do you think you wake up in the middle of the night, or do you
Oh,
actually sleep
definitely.
through?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
I
think
wake up
people get
several
older,
times.
they find that. Yeah, so they're not actually, perhaps the reason why you're not feeling that good and that well rested in the morning, perhaps you were not getting, you're not getting as much REM sleep, and your deep sleep might be an issue. Um, I think what we do before we go to sleep is actually quite important, having that routine to wind down and to calm ourselves down. um, Especially when you've had a really busy day, for example, after our recording, I will start winding down for bed because it's getting late, and I want an hour to calm down. So if we were actually doing this later, there's no way I can go to sleep right away afterwards, with the
Yeah.
lights and all of that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does your sleep routine look like? That wind down, because everybody talks about their morning routine, right? Like, what do you do in
Yeah.
the morning? Is it yoga? Is it journaling? Is it your gratitude practice? Is it,
Yeah.
like there's all these things.
Hmm.
And I don't think as many of us are as intentional about our bedtime routine.
Yes.
We kind of know what maybe we should do, but really
Hmm.
making that a habit, like you were talking about, like really creating these good habits is much intention around them as you would with your morning routine.
Yes, yes. So I take my sleep quite, really quite seriously,
I
and so I look
love
at the
this.
time. I do. So
I
morning, I have my
do.
morning routine, and I have to do whatever I need to do, and then I start winding down, and so it becomes a priority, and so I would start. First of all, I have dinner early unless I'm out with friends. Um, I had my dinner before, we actually started chatting. So I had dinner at about 5 o'clock
Okay.
because I know it'll be too late afterwards.
Yep.
And they and I always suggest to my clients to leave. I know it's not possible every night, to have at least 3 hours between dinner and bedtime, because when your stomach is full and digesting your food, your metabolism's going, your stomach, all your organs are working. That is not winding down. Your sleep,
No.
you're trying to tell your brain to wind down, but yet again everything else is on overdrive to process all that food that you've just eaten. And so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Eat early, lighter. um, and if you're going to have a glass of wine or something, again, have it early, because alcohol actually disrupts REM sleep. So people feel that they fall asleep, but then they end up waking up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And again, caffeine. I am not a big coffee drinker, but I have it early in the morning, because I find if I have it at lunchtime or after, then my sleep that night is really not that good. And then I will have a hot shower, listen to some soothing music, read a book, so I avoid anything that's stimulating.
I think the biggest thing that's standing out for me, and it's one of those things again that but most of us don't make a habit of eating dinner that early. I think most
Yeah,
people are eating dinner around 7, 8 at night. Just really trying to bring that forward is
yeah,
that's it's challenging, to be honest,
it
especially if
is.
you're just working to
Yes,
5 and you don't even get home till 6. But
yes.
finding a way to have that be as early as you can. I know I could do
Yeah.
better there, and I don't really have a big excuse for eating so late. I just do it. So I could
Yeah,
definitely bring that back a little bit.
yeah.
But I think you're right.
And
You don't realize all of the stimulation you're giving your body as
yeah,
you're also
yeah.
trying to wind down.
Perhaps in the evening, there's
Yeah.
always something to get done, something else to get finished. And then before
Mm-hmm.
you know it, it's 11 o'clock, midnight. And you're like, oh, I'm tired now, might as well go, I need to go to sleep.
Yep.
But
Yep.
rather than feeling that way, you look, you actually look at the time, you think, okay, I want to go to sleep by 10 o'clock. What does that mean? That means I have to start winding down by 9 o'clock at the latest. So
Mm-hmm.
work
Yeah.
backward.
It'll pay off in dividends.
Exactly. And sleep is so important for your brain, for brain health, for everything. And it's important for your immune system. So our body's always fighting infections and fighting all kinds of things. So we want to help our body to do as much as it can do, rather than actually keep putting it through all these challenges.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Sacred sleep. That's going to be my
Yeah.
new my new take on this. I love that. It sounds really beautiful. Actually, it's like something I could dedicate myself a little bit more mindfully to. Tell me a little bit how you typically work with people. What do they typically come to you for?
Yes, I will work with both men and women, and a lot of them are professionals or business owners, and their schedules are just overwhelmed. So very often they feel they can do better, for their health, but they don't know how to. They want the support, they want the guidance, and most importantly, they're really looking for someone to keep them accountable, so that if they go off track, someone to actually help them to get them back on track. And a lot of them, they want someone to help them with weight management, or if they have a family history of diabetes or heart
Uh,
diseases, they want to make sure that they are doing everything they can to actually prevent that from happening. And a lot of them feel with nutrition, they don't know what to do because of all this information out there. They want to improve their eating habits, not just at home, but even when they're out. How can they make wiser choices? Which you can.
right.
You can still dine out. You can travel. I travel. You can still have fun. It doesn't mean you have to eat at home every day. You can go
Yeah.
out and be sociable with your friends, go to birthday parties. But it's just actually being disciplined enough, to actually be always to think what are my options today, and from those options you make the best of them.
Right. I love that. I
Yeah.
also know that you have a book coming out, or maybe it's already out. Do you want to share a little
Oh,
bit about that?
I'm actually collaborating with a group of ladies, and yeah, it's really exciting. And so this book is about and all this. We all do different things. So I'm a wellness coach, and some of the other ladies are actually doing other therapies. We're all writing a chapter each and helping each other, and actually putting the information out there.
I love a collaboration, and I love, like, anytime you can bring women together. I've
Yeah.
done one before, and it was a lot of
Oh,
fun. Let us know when that is live. We could share that too. Um, well, this has been really wonderful to sit down and chat with you. Before we close out this conversation, what message do you really want to get across, when it comes to helping women learn how to advocate for themselves and understand, what dense breast tissue is all about?
there's a lot of information out there, so I encourage you to go out and do your research and educate yourself about what dense breast tissue is, and how important screening is, and just make sure that that gets checked. And if you are with the health provider that doesn't understand that much of it, you can always go and get a second opinion. Find someone who actually would support you on this. And it is important, to actually be able to work with someone who feels the same way as you do. When I first got diagnosed with dense breast tissue, I was really worried and concerned. But now, I feel that I'm in control. I make sure I get to screening, and and I keep up with the research and do what I can do, and make sure I stay healthy, and that's it. So be proactive.
That's really key. I mean, that's what this is all about. We believe everybody deserves the benefits of early detection, and a lot of that comes with the right screening, and it comes with also us being proactive and us supporting each other in every day with conversations and in community. Ask your friend, did you do your exam this month? Did you, go for your follow-up this year? Can we carpool, schedule together, whatever you have to do?
Exactly.
I appreciate you so much, Tess. I am really grateful to have you here sharing your voice and your advocacy and the work that you're doing, and share this with more women and get the word out.
Thank you, Lisa, again for having me on your show and for allowing me to share my